Now that Valentine's Day has come and gone, so too may your relationship. Not to be morose, but breakups are a part of life, and here to help us navigate how to best, if possible, to approach a separation is national etiquette expert Diane Gottsman, founder of the Protocol School of Texas. Welcome back. We hate talking about breakups, but they are a part of life. What are some of the things that we should avoid when we decide to part ways?
You know, it is true. This is a part of life. We have all been through some kind of breakup at one time or another. And you know, when we were growing up, our parents taught us to be good sports. And I think it's important in a breakup to follow that same direction. So I think that it's important to keep your dignity, you know, make sure that you are doing as much as you can to feel good about yourself. And that means that you don't want to do things like go cut your hair and some drastic change or spend a lot of money on something you probably aren't going to use or want. You know, you're just trying to fill a void at this moment. I think it's important to stay close to family and friends that you trust. You know, we all need one person to just kind of vent, but that doesn't mean, Layla, as you know, that we can just go all over town and just talk, pardon my French, talk trash about our ex, because it makes us look bad.
It is true.
What comes out of your mouth.
Sorry, one thing I found really interesting though is don't attempt to become best friends with your ex. And that's interesting because there's something to be said about people who can end things amicably, you're on good terms, or a marriage that breaks up, but you're still friends, you have to co-parent, whatever the case may be, but don't necessarily set that as the expectation.
It can happen. You know, in a perfect world, that would be lovely, and it does happen. However, I think that you need to take some time to heal. I don't know that it's going to happen overnight. It takes work. And what that means is that we have to be impeccable with what we have to say about our ex. And I think that it's possible. And over time, we've seen it all over and over again. We've seen this situation, and we've also seen just the opposite. And we really want positive, not negative.
Absolutely. And so you say no drastic changes. What is another thing that we should also avoid doing?
So I think that it's important to avoid stalking your ex on social media, which means that, you know, when I say stalking, I mean from going over their posts every single hour to there are some extremes. And, you know, there's a difference between being upset for the moment and because that's normal. But when we are upset for a lengthy period of time, I think it's important to seek help. You know, there is nothing wrong with seeking help from a counselor, a pastor, and again, family and friends. But you don't want to post anything that you're going to regret. You don't want to say anything you're going to regret. I strongly urge you to avoid talking to family members, friends, reaching out to clients. We don't want to hear about your dirty laundry. You know, I think that's across the board. Yes, we are empathetic, but at some point in time, it's time to move on. So I think it's time to, you can feel sad, you can grieve, you can cry, but always look on the bright side and look ahead. And there is a journey up ahead. And I think it's important to look forward and not backward, and keep your dignity. That means keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth quiet.
It helps to have a trusted person to talk to, but maybe not put it out on social media.
Yes, exactly. I think that when you put it on social media, it's out for the world to see. Yeah. And you want to make sure that what you do today does not come back to haunt you, you know, in 2 weeks, a month, a year to come. So it's important to keep your dignity while you are going through this difficult time. It is a difficult time, and people want to be there to support you, but do it the right way.
Absolutely. Now, you talk about self-care and treating yourself well. What are some of the other things people should do in the event of a breakup?
So I think you should continue to keep your daily routine. If you work out, get out there and work out. Keep doing what you're doing. Make sure, I know this sounds so simple, but make sure that you're eating healthy. Get plenty of rest. Make new friends. Sometimes this is not the time where we feel like getting up and jumping out and going, but it's that extra push. Make yourself do it. So it takes some effort to get out and regroup and get moving again. But when you start putting yourself in a different situation, or a situation where you're comfortable and you feel like you have something to control, you feel better about yourself. So stick to your routines.
Yes.
I think that's very important.
And also, just going back to social media again, to cut those ties, just go ahead and unfriend the person that you were dating, because the last thing you want to see is them taking pictures with somebody else and having a gay old time if your heart was broken. So, yes. Right, so maybe...
I think it's important to unfollow them. It doesn't mean that you don't have to block them. If you don't have a contentious relationship with them, just unfollow them and unfollow them for the time being. And I think that here's two other things. I think when you are around friends that are also friends with your ex, don't ask them questions. Don't put them on the spot, because they don't want to be put in the middle. And also, I think it helps if they want to talk about your ex, just to say, that topic is off limits for me. Let's talk about something else.
And that's
so
totally
I think it's
okay.
exposure. It's routine, and it becomes a habit, and it really will become easier as time goes by.
Create your own boundaries. Diane Gottsman, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We're back after this.